2,300,000 blocks of stone. No cranes, no pulleys, no aero. Each block weighs more than a pickup truck, and they stack them 480 feet into the sky. For 3,800 years, nothing on Earth was ever built taller than this. And the men who did it were not slaves. This is the story of who really built the Great Pyramid. Egypt, 2560 before Christ. A new king has just taken the throne, and his name is Khufu. You may know him by his Greek name, Cheops. His father, Sneferu, had built 3 pyramids and struggled with every one of them. One of them bent halfway up. To this day, we call it the bent pyramid. The son learned from every mistake his father made. Khufu decided his tomb would not simply be bigger. It would be perfect, a machine of stone to launch a king's soul to the stars. To the Egyptians, pharaohs did not die. They rose. And the pyramid was the staircase, a ramp of solid light aimed at the sky. The site they chose, a plateau of solid rock on the west bank of the Nile, where the sun dies every evening. Giza. The architect had a name, Himinu, the king's own nephew. And his design began with an impossible question. How do you align a mountain with the stars? The answer leaves modern engineers speechless. The base points to true north with an error smaller than 1/20th of a degree. No compass, no satellite, just the stars, stretched ropes, and a patience we simply don't have anymore. That left the small matter of moving 6 million tons of stone. And for that, all of Egypt would be called. This is where Seneb comes in. 17 years old, a farmer's son, a mud brick village in Upper Egypt. He had never left home. Every year between July and October, the Nile overflowed and drowned the fields. Millions of farmers had nothing to do. And that was exactly when the king's boats came down the river, recruiting men. Not with a whip, with a contract. Bread, beer, meat, and glory. Yes, you heard that right. The records show wages, days off, even sick leave. The image of slaves under the lash. That's Hollywood, not history. Seneb sailed with the men of his village. 2 weeks downriver, sleeping on the deck until somebody shouted. And he saw it. On the horizon, a mountain that was not a mountain. White, geometric, impossible. The work was already halfway done when he arrived. And at its feet, an entire city that appeared on no map. The city of the builders. Archaeologists found that city in 1990. Bakeries the size of warehouses. Thousands of bones of cattle, pig, and fish. Do the math. Meat every single day for thousands of men for 20 years. No empire feeds slaves like that. Seneb was assigned to a gang of 40 men, and the gangs had names painted with pride like football teams. We know because they signed. Hidden inside the stones, archaeologists found the names, Friends of Khufu, the South Side Gang. The day began before the sun. Seneb's job, pull stone from the quarry to the ramp 1,000 times every single day. The quarry was right there. Blow after blow, they tore blocks of 2.5 tons out of the bedrock. The tools? Soft copper, hard stone, and wood. It's like carving a mountain using cutlery. And then came the part that looked impossible, moving the block. Their secret was so simple it hurts. Water. A man walked ahead of the sledge, pouring water on the sand. Wet sand doesn't sink, it becomes a road. Physicists tested this in a laboratory in 2014. Water cuts the friction in half. The Egyptians knew it 4,500 years ago. But the fine limestone, white as milk, that one wasn't a Giza. It came from Tura, across the river, and the granite from 500 miles away. How do we know? Because in 2013, in a cave by the Red Sea, they found the oldest written papyrus in human history. The logbook of a foreman named Mirror, 40 men, 1 boat, and a route. white stone from Tara to the horizon of Khufu. The pyramid even had an address. Mirror wrote it like a man filling in a spreadsheet. This day we loaded, that day we delivered. He had no idea he was writing history. On site, the blocks went up ramps of brick, rubble, and plaster. Straight? Spiral? Internal? To this day, nobody knows for certain. In 2018, they found an ancient ramp with post holes down both sides. With levers and counterweights, they beat impossible slopes. Seneb spent years doing this. His body became the record. Broad shoulders, compressed spine, hands of stone. We know because we found the skeletons. In the tombs beside the pyramid, healed fractures, operated bones, treated spines. Understand what that means. Somebody paid to treat every one of them. A disposable slave doesn't get surgery. The king's builder does. And there was one detail that changed everything. To be buried there, in the shadow of the God King's tomb, was a ticket to eternity. That's why they pushed. Not for a whip that never existed, for bread, for pride, and for a small piece of the king's immortality. Meanwhile, inside the mountain, a labyrinth was being born. Corridors that climb, that descend, and that deceive. The Grand Gallery, 150 feet of corridor rising on a diagonal, with walls that close in toward a ceiling 28 feet above your head. And at its heart, the king's chamber, 100% Aswan granite. The ceiling alone uses 9 beams of up to 80 tons. Each, 80 tons, lifted 140 feet into the air 4,500 years ago. There are modern cranes that would struggle with that. Above the chamber, the builders left 5 empty attics to spread the weight of the mountain. Pure genius, invisible forever. Forever, not quite. In 1837, explorers blasted their way in with dynamite, and on the hidden stones, they found red paint. Workers' graffiti, gang names, and among them, the only signature of the owner of the house in the entire pyramid, Khufu. 20 years after the first cut in the quarry, the day came. The final stone, the pyramidion, the summit in miniature, perhaps covered in gold. Seneb was down there in the crowd. He was no longer the boy from the boat. He was a gang leader with children born in the city of the builders. When the white casing was polished, they say you could see the pyramid from days away. A mirror of sun in the middle of the desert. 480 feet, the tallest building on the planet, and it would hold first place for 3,800 years. To feel that, when the pyramid was already 1,000 years old, Tutankhamun had not been born. To Cleopatra, it was older than Cleopatra is to you. And the man who ordered it built? The only confirmed portrait of Khufu that survived is an ivory statuette 3 inches tall. The greatest structure in human history for the owner of the smallest royal statue in Egypt. Eternity has a sense of humor. Time, though, collected its price. An earthquake in the 14th century loosened the white casing, and medieval Cairo carried the stones away. The mosques of old Cairo still shine today with the stolen skin of the pyramid. The new city wore the old one. You think the story is over? In 2017, physicists scanned the pyramid with cosmic particles, and its heart answered back. There's a void in there, the size of a commercial airliner, hidden above the Grand Gallery. No one has ever entered it. In 2023, a camera confirmed another secret corridor behind the north face. 4,500 years later, she is still hiding rooms. What's inside the void? The real burial chamber? Papyri? Nothing? The greatest structure of the ancient world is still its greatest question. Late in life, Seneb would take his grandchildren to see the work. He would point at the top and say, "I pulled that one up there," and nobody could doubt him. He could not read, but his gang's name is written inside, in a place no thief ever reached. Signed in red, forever. Slaves don't sign the work. Free men proud of what they may do. The Great Pyramid is the greatest paycheck in history. If this story gripped you, there's much more at World and Stories. Subscribe, hit the bell, and tell me in the comments, what do you think is inside the Great Void?